A few baby steps made in the right direction. Marcus Rashford is set to become the highest paid player at Manchester United. This as the Red Devils step up their pursuit for a centre-back from France, with Jean Clair Todibo from Nice emerging as a front-runner to come through and take the place that was most likely going to be taken by Kim Min-jae, who chose Bayern Munich. Subscribe to the Hotspot as we do get to talk about Manchester United and all the transfer news and of course done deals concerning the biggest football club in the world. My name is Webb, and of course it's an honor, it's a pleasure for me to be here every day to talk to you about the club we all love, for the love of this badge. Now let's get proper into it. Now Marcus Rashford was United's best player last season, chosen by his fellow teammates, his players, who chose him as the players player of the season, having contributed 30 goals in all competitions for the club. His most successful season ever since he broke into the senior team from the Manchester United academy. Now Rashford is a symbol of pride when you talk about Manchester and players from their academy, and no wonder he has been loved. Even when he had not so good seasons, he was backed by the club. Now the epitome of his performance was last season when he scored those 30 goals in all competitions, and the reward was always going to come through. Now it was confirmed, it has been confirmed that Marcus Rashford is going to be becoming the highest paid player at the club, earning £375,000 per week, replacing David De Gea, who has been earning the same amount of money, but it seems he's not willing to take a salary cut of to earn £200,000 per week if he wants to start the club. So as it looks now, De Gea will be headed out of the club, and Rashford will now become the big new top earner. He's been earning close to £100,000 per week on his old contract, but now with this new contract, of course, will come a lot of expectation. As they say, to whom much is given, much is expected. Now, of course, there is a lot of responses and feedback concerning what has been done. I am one of those who feel like, well, whereas Marcus Rashford is a key player for Manchester United, I feel like jumping from £100,000 per week to earning £375,000 per week was rushed. I don't think he has earned it yet. I feel he had to give United a few more consistent good seasons. He's only 24, he's a young footballer, but the club felt like they always do rush in terms of their decisions, at times panic. They are easily cornered by probably most of these player representatives into, again, making decisions that are not, for me, the best decisions in terms of interest of the club. But here we go. Marcus Rashford is in things now. He will be earning that money. There is no doubt, regardless which striker Manchester United brings in, whether it's Kylian Mbappe, Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, Marcus Rashford is guaranteed a starter in the Man United team. He will be starting games for certain in those forward positions, more so flying in from the left. Of course, he improved a bit in terms of playing as a target 9. He has been looking a bit better the few times he's played there, but he's best when he's flying in from the left. But the club has chosen that he deserves that amount of money, and that's the highest. I think the salary cap that United set internally, that's the highest a player can earn. So they have given it to a boy, an English boy, and of course one who has worked diligently for the badge. And well, there have been no qualms, no much qualms about it. Whereas you could have thought maybe an increment to £200,000 would be a better progress. Well, perhaps it doesn't work like that in football. More so if he's considered your hottest player, but also wanted by some of the highest paying clubs in the world, including Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe you would understand why United rushed to make that decision to hand Rashford such a hefty contract. So that's the situation with Rashford, and we will, of course, we will be hoping he does deliver according to his the expectations now that the world will have of him. But if he doesn't, I think the attention of the world will be on him. But away from Rashford, now this man, Todibo, the 23-year-old centre-back from Nice, he has not won a single cap for the senior team in France. He's played for the under-23, but he's been around for a minute. He started playing senior football with Toulouse, that is in 2016. Of course, attracted the attention of several big clubs at that time, including Barcelona. He went to Barcelona. They handed him the shirt number 6. That's a big shirt to be handed to a young player in a team like Barcelona. So that shows you at how much belief and trust they had in him. So they handed him the shirt 6, but loaned him to Schalke 04 the following year in 2020. Later loaned to Benfica and to Nice, where they had an option of buying him permanently after his first season on loan. They had an option of buying him for 8 million euros plus 7 million euros in variables. Now, also, which they triggered after his first loan season at Nice. They felt he did well, so they triggered the option of buying him and they bought him. But Barcelona did reserve some rights over him in terms of earning from him whenever he was bought. So even if United goes ahead to buy him, Barcelona will earn some money from the cash they get from him. That is Nice. So he's always been a highly rated player, and I'm going to talk to you about his strength and abilities and why I think actually should be a good priority if United have failed on Kim Min-jae. He's an important footballer. He's valued at about 33 million euros. That's quite a decent figure for someone bought for 8.5 million just a few years ago. 33 million euros is decent enough. Man United should be smiling. I feel like, in fact, if United wanted, they could buy both him and Axel Disasi from Monaco, because Disasi is valued just slightly higher than that. Disasi is valued at about 44 million. So you feel this is money United can afford to get and perhaps sort the centre back problem with two players, two promising good footballers. But he's a good dribbler in terms of his strength and abilities. He's a good dribbler of the ball, and that's something you want to see from centre-backs lately. Centre-backs who are able to get the ball from behind and dribble a couple of touches before finding who to pass the ball to. He's good at that. He's good with the ball on his feet. He's good, so good with the ball on his feet. I think he's one of the best I've seen. In terms of dribbling, in the French League 1 last season, he was third in terms of dribbling. He was third on the list of dribblers, and he's a centre-back who can also play as a right-back. So that's a good thing. But also the fact that he can play both centre-back and right-back is another good advantage. We know that Ten Hag loves players who can do such. So again, that's a big advantage when it comes to that man, Todibo, and what he would add to the Manchester United team. Then the other thing, of course, is his physique. He's quite physical. He's a strong player. He's sort of a giant, strong and tall, which is a good advantage. You want to compare him a bit to some of the tall centre backs we've seen in the Premier League, the likes of of course John Terry is a bit bigger, but in terms of height, he's almost there. Van Dijk as well. He's a physical centre back, which is a good thing to add. More so if you've got one of your first centre backs being short as Lisandro Martinez, you need a giant like him to come in there and support him. So he's good. That's another advantage he's got. He's good at one-on-ones when he's facing a striker. He's good at reading the ball and knowing how to pick it without conceding a foul, committing a foul. That's another advantage he's got. So he has got all the characters and basics of a good footballer, a good modern-day centre-back. And I feel for me, in terms of options after Kim Min-jae, I would rate him highly because, first of all, he's been travelled. The experience of a 23-year-old playing in Spain, playing in France, and in Germany, for me, is a good experience to bring in the Premier League because those are leagues that play a bit of the modern game. In Benfica and in Spain, they play the modern game. Centre-backs play like, they're ball-playing centre-backs. Same thing in Germany. Sort of the same thing in France. So for me, those are advantages you feel that would add to Manchester United if he came in that centre-back position. So for me, I think it would be a good acquisition. And United is believed to be in advanced steps of making, first of all, approaching the player to have personal conversations with him to convince him to believe in the project that's coming, but also to the club and table a bid. Speaking of bids, United are also still intent on going back to Chelsea to table a bid of more than £45 million for Mason Mount, who they believe should be able to join them for at most 50 million. So United are going back. I think the bid has probably been sent already, waiting for feedback from Chelsea, but United is still intent on signing Mason Mount. Those are the latest updates coming through from the Red Devils. But of course, generally, if you look at the whole business and how things are going, of course, with United faltering on most of their first priorities, now being cornered into signing third and fourth priorities of players, well, it worries a bit in terms of what exactly where the Glazers, how deep they want to sink the Man United ship, these Glazers. But there is hope, considering that all the options that United are looking at players I personally feel can come in United and give solutions and I think hold the ship or hold fort when they are called upon. So for me, there is not so big worry for me. Of course, we would have loved for Ten Hag to sign his first priority players, but given the circumstances, we shouldn't be so miserable. I think there is hope for United, and that hope, of course, certainly is justified. But the other thing I've noted is that Manchester United, we've got so many players, about 5 or 6 players. Many feel should be leaving, but it's surprising that no Saudi club is flattering. Besides David De Gea, who has been flattered by Saudi clubs to price him out of his misery at United, it doesn't seem to be that there are so many Saudi clubs, oil-rich clubs interested in most of our players. The Scott McTominays of this world, the Harry Maguires of this world. Yet they are going to Chelsea. They are as if intentionally giving all the money to Chelsea because already Mendy is headed to Al Ahly. Talk of Koulibaly. Talk of N'Golo Kante already went in a crazy deal. So you wonder why don't these Saudi clubs come and price out some of these United players? Are they not rated even by the Saudi top clubs in Saudi Arabia? Don't they rate Man United players? Is that how bad they are? These Scott McTominays and Maguires of this world who we want out of the club like yesterday? I wonder. But that's where we are now. The biggest one that has come through today is concerning Marcus Rashford. Do you think he deserves £375,000 per week? I feel like it was rushed, like his name, Rashford. They rushed to give him that amount of money. I feel like they could have grown it, slowly, gradually, because now the expectation should be high. He should be consistent and scoring more goals close to Erling Haaland, because that is mean. To whom much is given, much is expected. Well, I'll be giving you more. Expect more, at least from me, because you've given me too much of your time. I'll give you more news concerning Manchester United. And of course, later on, I will be back live tonight at 22 hours. That's 10 p.m. I will be live more with, of course, Manchester United talk and more updates concerning the takeover, which seems imminent. But how imminent is imminent? Well, all that and more will be coming through at 10 p.m. That's 22 hours. Thank you. I will be catching you later. Ciao.